What up, dog? We are back out in the garage and we are going to be taking off the alternator to start taking it apart and see if we can figure out what's wrong. To do that, we are going to have to take the air box out. It's not too hard. It's just one of the band straps, one bolt over against the firewall, and then we'll be able to get down here to the tensioner, pull that back, get the belt off, and then pull the alternator up from the top. Not too bad. All right, time out, everybody. So we can do a little bit of context for this video in case you didn't watch the last one as to why we're taking out the alternator. And if you haven't watched it, you can go ahead. There should be a clicky thing up here somewhere where you can click and see the last video where we figure out what the problem is. And if not, go into the channel when you go to subscribe and like the thing, and then you can go and watch all of our old videos and get caught up in the entire project. So anyways, the reason we're going back in and doing this is because we've been getting some error codes. It happened when the vehicle first started giving us problems in Illinois. They all come back to the camshaft positioning sensor, A, zone 1, bank 1, turn 369, I don't know. But anyways, so that problem there, a lot of people are saying is related to the alternator. What is happening is the alternator is giving intermittent codes or electricity through to the computer, sending off this code. We have changed out our sensors and it still happens. So I'm leaning towards this is the reason. A lot of people have gone through and just replaced the entire alternator. We're trying to save ourselves like $230, $280, depending on where we go to get this alternator by just changing out the diode that goes bad in it. So that's what we're doing here, and back to me. We do have the alternator out. I'm setting up the table and the fan because it's another hot Texas day. If you're wondering, why was the wheel off earlier? Why is the car jacked up? You don't need that to take the alternator out. For two reasons. One is, had a customer write in the other day that actually lives 15 minutes away from me, wondering if those would fit his car and it's not a Mustang. So I said, hey, you know what? I have a set of them on a car. I am not driving. I can bring one over. You can see if it tests fit. So that's not me saying by any means whatsoever the RTR says put these on this car, but this is just me saying, hey, you can see whether or not yourself it fits. Also, because now that we've ran this in, the tune is on it, we also need to do the oil change. So we will be doing the oil change on it. Probably won't film that because everybody here, I would hope, knows what an oil change looks like. Here is our alternator. I do apologize. I have the fan going over here. If it becomes an issue when I go in to edit, I'll just kind of redub this. But we got to start taking it apart. A 5/16 to open this up. So here is our alternator in pieces. Now if we look at it, right here is our pulley. Inside here, this is the spinny bob. In here, this is the whirligig. This right here is the copper nipple. And then right here is our diode. And this is what may have gone wrong because a lot of people say that when they have this issue, it's the diode that is going out. Do I know anything about the workings of an alternator? Not really. Do I know if that's the problem? No, I don't. Am I a mechanic? Not at all. Do I understand electricity? I understand that if you stick a fork in a light socket, it's gonna friggin' hurt. And that's about it. Other than that, I don't really know a whole lot. So here's the way that I look at it. I can order one of these off of eBay, this diode, and replace it for $24. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't, well, shit, that sucks. I spent $24. If it works, I save myself like $230 from buying a whole new alternator. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this housing back together because when I looked at it, all of this appears to be fine. When I look inside here, everything here, if the light glare would go away, is pretty good. There's one area that's got a little bit more of a scuff than the others, but other than that, nothing here looks to be out of place or anything that says to me, light bulb, here's our problem. What's going on, girly? How you doing? You have fun riding in the truck? Awesome. Mira and I just got back from selling some more stuff. It is not cheap to continually work on a car, especially a project car, when you're dumping this much money into it. And depending on who in my household is watching, when you're dumping so little money into it. We did hop on eBay and we got the order put in for our diode for the alternator. So that is supposed to be here tomorrow. You're gonna be here all up in my face the entire time I'm trying to do this with that drool hanging from your mouth? Bruh. We got in our diode just right now in the mail. So if we take a look at it, you can see there is a slight difference in the shape of the plates. This one here is more square. This here lower plate comes more out to the edge and curves over, where you don't really get that on this one. But other than that, everything else on here is the same. All your connection points and whatnot. Even the thread pitch here on this bolt is exactly the same. So what we're gonna work on is getting this plate here off so we can then mount this one. We are gonna have to solder these onto this here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be very careful when we're removing this here, so we leave as much of that on there as possible. And then we're also going to make sure that we don't crack anything like this stuff here, because it is attached right there. So we need to separate that crimp that they got on there, which shouldn't be too hard. And we should be able to pop this thing off. So hopefully we'll be able to get this done. I really haven't been filming too much of this because I need two hands to do it. But if you look right, I guess here at this one, where it's soldered, you have this nice little bulb. What I'm doing is I'm just taking my pliers right here and just cutting that tip off on all of these, which will then, as you can kind of see, if I lift up on here, free it up. And I want to make sure that I keep as much of this on here as possible, because I still need to solder back into this. This wire here goes down and it's part of all of this, and we don't want to have to mess with all of that. We just need to get this diode off the top here. So I'm gonna go ahead and clip this last one, and that should free all of this up to remove it. Then we just need to make sure that we get this connection off, possibly this, but I'm not really sure if we're gonna need that. And then we'll be able to see how everything else mats up. Now that we got all these sections cut off, we can set that to the side. So here we go. This is how we're looking. Everything here seems to be still pretty good. Doesn't look like we really damaged anything taking that off. And the new one should slide in here in place, hopefully. Okay, all the bolt holes and everything line up on this, but once you actually get it lined up, it appears that everything on here is maybe a 1/4 inch too short to where it won't actually line up. And if I start to line up one, it throws the other one off a little bit more. So I did get the wrong one. So now I need to see if I can find another one of these so we can fix this. Damn it. Right. That out. It's the Speed Racer Mach 5. That is fancy. So Gabs and I just got back from a alternator repair shop. I had called them yesterday to see if they had this part. They said to bring it in and they'll double check. I have not been able to find anybody that sells this rectifier. I don't know why. They told me that they found it, and then they went to the back and then came back and said, oh yeah, this isn't your problem. Bring in the whole alternator and we'll check it out for you. Not gonna do that. So I don't really know what to do outside of purchase a new one, which is gonna be a lot more than the $25 this thing would have cost to repair it on my own. But new vehicles, right? And gentlemen, we do have our package in here. Inside should be our alternator. Here we go. It is a Ultima alternator. I ordered this from, of course, O'Reilly's. They had it for $277. I can take in my core and get $45 back, and it was free next day shipping. Since this video is already starting to go long, I'm gonna go ahead and drop this in, and we will check the startup, make sure everything is working properly. So we took it on a trip around the street. Gabby just brought it back, as you saw, and everything seemed like it was working fine. And then as we go to put it away, we have more than just a few codes. It's basically every cylinder misfire and every cam positioning sensor you can think of is going bad. So that's awesome. All right, well, I'm kind of at a loss because now we're getting all kinds of codes. Went through a section where it didn't want to start. There was a little bit of a knocking there for a little bit. I don't know, I'm kind of at a loss. We'll start working on some other things in some upcoming videos, but I don't know about this thing. Until next time, peace.